Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
And tonight, a forewarned weather alert is in effect for all of our viewing area. A second round of storms is popping up now in Livingston County.
And flooding, like what we've seen in Monroe County, could become an even bigger issue as we head deeper into your evening.
We are far from finished with rain, with as much as 2 inches possible before this is all said and done. It's prompted the Great Lakes Water Authority to tell people to get valuables out of their basements.
Some very good advice. Forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams tracking some new activity on an Exact Track 40 radar. Kim?
Well, this is out ahead of the line that will come through between 7 and 10 o'clock tonight. So this isn't nowhere near the worst of it, but you've had some thunderstorms out in Howell, also in Fowlerville, and even up through parts of southern Monroe County. Now that's finished. That's what that yellow box is. There was a special weather statement about that cell. That's now moved out over the lake. We're still watching a cell over parts of Livingston County, but it is not severe. This is the one that if you were watching us last hour, it's over Heartland right now. I have lightning detector on, only picking up a couple of strikes. But if you were watching a few minutes ago, you saw our producer Brett Collar saw a wall cloud. In a wall cloud, you can often get a tornado that forms. So we were watching it very closely as it moved across I-96, but the rotation just kind of fell apart, didn't obviously produce a tornado. But it's still a strong enough thunderstorm with some pretty heavy rain. So that's all that we have here for right now. But I'm going to switch this to the national radar so that you can see what's coming. And that's going to be well down to our south in parts of Indiana is where we're really keeping a close eye right now. See this right here? So let me try to telestrate over this so you can kind of get an eye of what this is. Okay, so this is like a bow echo. That's what they call it, a bow echo. And oftentimes there are brief, really high damaging winds within a bow echo. And so this coming up out of northern Indiana has had that bow. So once it makes it here to Metro Detroit, might lose a little bit of steam, but we're still expecting high winds, hail, also the possibility of a few isolated tornadoes. There was a tornado warning for the Coldwater area that has now since expired, but we're definitely watching it. We don't have any warnings right now, but all of Metro Detroit is under a severe thunderstorm watch, and that is until 10 o'clock tonight. So I'll have more on this area of storms, and once things start getting a little closer, we'll track those for you.
Hey, Kim, thank you. And let's get back out to Fraser. That's where Victor Williams is tracking the storm damage for us there. Hi, Victor.
Hey there, Kimberly. So we've been seeing downed branches everywhere. It looked like this one just snapped like a twig, and it's not the only thing that snapped like a twig. Take a look at this tree right here. I mean, this was really bad. You can tell how bad those winds were, how heavy that was with the rain also causing this tree to snap. Take a look at some other damage from the backyard of the folks that we spoke to earlier. They did not expect this at all. Take a listen.
I got home just after it all happened. I pulled in the driveway and saw the branches in the front yard. I thought, okay, well, that's not that bad. And then I looked in the backyard. And there's a lot of trees down, but nothing hit the house or the garage.
We survived, so that's the most important thing in this.
So once again, the cleanup process is now going to begin for a lot of the people here. This is someone's siding from their home that ended up blowing over here into this backyard. So it just goes to show you how bad things were, with now the National Weather Service confirming that it was a tornado that touched down. So we're going to be talking to more people to show you even more damage later on. In Fraser, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Wow, look at that big tree. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Victor. We appreciate it. We'll check back with you.
And the weather has forced the cancellation of tonight's Tigers game at Comerica Park against the Pirates. It'll be made up in a split doubleheader tomorrow.
The Forewarned Weather app can be a powerful tool on days like these. So the QR code on your screen will take you right where you need to go. Download it. You can use it to check Exact Track 40 radar along with the hour-by-hour forecast. And of course, it's free, both on Apple and Android.
Amid ongoing federal oversight of the UAW, a government watchdog group is accusing UAW President Shawn Fain of retaliating against a top union official and using violent rhetoric to protect his inner circle. Our Will Jones is digging into these accusations and what they mean for the future of the union. Will joins us live with more. Will.
Kimberly, the Monitor's report doesn't paint a good picture of Shawn Fain's leadership here at the UAW. So far, we haven't gotten a response from the union about the report. Meanwhile, Margaret Mock feels vindicated by what was laid out in that report.
It was February 2024 when UAW President Shawn Fain removed departmental responsibilities and board positions from Secretary-Treasurer Margaret Mock, accusing her of weaponizing financial policies and obstructing union operations. Now, in a 93-page report released this week, the court-appointed monitor overseeing the UAW is calling on Fain to restore Mock's duties, saying that Fain's actions were unjustified and violated the union's constitution. The report shows that Mock prioritized following the rules and maintaining financial integrity within the union. It portrays Fain as a hostile leader, noting his threatening language about slitting or cutting the throats of anyone who messed with his inner circle at a staff meeting attended by Mock and about 300 UAW personnel in 2023. In response to the report, Mock saying in a statement, "The court-appointed independent monitor confirms what I've said all along. There was no justification for action taken last year to remove me from positions I held on behalf of UAW members." She goes on to say, "I was elected on a reform slate because our members want a fresh start from the previous scandals and bad practices which took money out of our members' pockets."
The Monitor has deferred bringing any formal charges in order to investigate additional allegations of retaliatory conduct involving Fain's office. We're live at the Solidarity House. Will Jones, Local 4.
Yeah, okay. Will, thank you.
Well, tonight we are learning brand new information about two separate murder-suicides over in Monroe County. First, yesterday's incident in Raisinville Township, west of Monroe. The sheriff confirms the victims in that case were two 16-year-olds. Detectives say the pair were dating, and writings in the suspect's car said he planned to take both of their lives.
Then in Bedford Township, the sheriff says a 17-year-old girl was shot and killed by a 33-year-old man. That shooter has now been identified as Ryan Least, who served as a bowling coach at the high school the victim attended. As of tonight, the Bedford Public Schools and Airport Community Schools have activated their crisis management teams to provide support for anyone who knew those involved in these tragedies.
Popular social media platform is at the center of a disturbing case involving a teen from Macomb Township. What's in this federal complaint is so upsetting to some people, it had a prosecutor struggling to stay composed in federal court today. Erica Erickson standing by live with more on a story that's really tough to talk about. Erica.
Yeah, here in federal court this afternoon, the prosecutor reading that complaint, some of those details actually became incredibly emotional and basically took a break before continuing. And prosecutors say they've only gotten into 2 accounts that are linked to this teen out of about 13, but they decided to make an arrest this week.
What'd you see? A bunch of FBI out there with the knocking the door down.
The details of the charges too graphic to repeat. Neighbors on Ringneck Drive in Macomb gasping.
It's scary. It's really scary.
As they now realize why the FBI has been out to the home of 18-year-old Julian Zara at least twice.
And they were taking the 18-year-old or oldest son away in handcuffs.
The FBI arresting Zara Monday, according to prosecutors, after tips not only from a user on the Discord chatting app, but also from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, linking dozens of so-called animal crushing videos and child sexually abusive material to the teen, dating back to September of 2023. Feds raiding the home in April say Zara handing over his iPhone was still logged into 13 different Gmail accounts, admitted to using the app, his involvement in the terror network 764, and viewing images of children between 5 and 10 years old, and saying and doing things he was, quote, not proud of. The feds then say they uncovered dozens of videos involving sexual and torturous acts on puppies, kittens, turtles, deer, rats, snakes, and frogs. Zara allegedly admitting to another user that he watched child pornography as a test, but, quote, got more pleasure kicking dogs.
Scary. Because I've got a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old, and there's little kids running up and down the street all day.
Prosecutors also referencing Wednesday Zara's alleged disturbing Google search history that involved mass, spree, and school shootings and, quote, how to buy a gun in Michigan. Zara's family was in court this afternoon, and his defense attorney says he suffers from newly diagnosed mental health issues. But this judge says he appears to be not only a danger to himself, but also his family and the community. And instead of putting him into a mental health facility, he has him being held without bond for right now. Reporting live downtown, Erica Erickson, back to you.
You're leaving people speechless on this one. All right, Erica, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, in more news tonight, we want to tell you that tomorrow brings a unique chance to trade up to a new career.
This is pretty exciting. So Local 4 and Hired in Michigan, we are teaming up for a Michigan Skilled Careers job fair. It's over at the Radisson Hotel on Telegraph in Southfield. It goes from 11 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening, and there's a long list of some really big employers that'll be there. CJ Eason, president of Workforce Development at Hired in Michigan, describes the perfect way to break the ice with a potential employer.
Practice yourself a 30-second elevator pitch, or what I call the 10-word resume. What's the 10-word resume? It is your career title, the years of experience that you have, and then 10 words that can highlight your experience that you have. That's 30 seconds right there.
Really good tip there. Here again is all the information if you missed it the first time. It all happens tomorrow at the Southfield Radisson on Telegraph from 11 to 6. Good luck to those applying and those hiring.